A few more minutes, I think. We'll get started. 6 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order for Wednesday, February 25th at 6 p.m. Roll call.
Mrs. Horvath?
Here.
Mr. Siebert?
Here.
Mrs. Bullock?
Here.
Mr. Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here. All right, at this time, JRTC is going to lead us in the pledge.
Okay. Up. Harry. Others. Right. Pace. Forward. March. Color guard. Hold. Left. Pace. Breathe. And colors.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Colors. Right. Pace. Forward. March.
Excellent job, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me see something here. All right, at this time, we will go ahead and start with the Panther Character Award. Each month, Little Miami Board of Education takes time to celebrate the outstanding individuals who make our district such a special place. Thank you. These students, staff, and community members exemplify leadership, character, and Panther pride in all they do. Tonight, we're proud to recognize this month's honoree who truly show what it means to be a Panther. First, we'd like to start with the Panther Character Award, Mr. Siebert.
We'd like to recognize 5 deserving students this month for the Panther Character Award winners. This honor is presented to one student from each of our schools. The students are recognized by their teachers and their peers for their hard work and good character. This month's character trait is respect, showing others they are important by what they do and say. We would like to ask the following students to come here, up front here and line up in front of the board facing the audience. Austin Batilio. Holden Hughes. Preston Robinson. Addie Fowler. And Casey Campbell. Addie shows respect in everything he does. He uses polite and kind words when he speaks to adults in his classroom. Austin has a calming presence and sets a positive example for all that follow. He is truly a Panther leader. Holden is a great example of what it means to be a Panther leader. He is respectable, responsible, and a problem solver. He shows respect to every adult and every peer in the building. He goes above and beyond to make sure that he follows the directions and follows the kindness to everyone. Holden is an essential part of our classroom family, and I'm lucky to be his third grade teacher. Preston is a wonderful example of respect, exhibiting his rare but significant character trait in his daily behavior. Preston is always polite, extremely well-mannered, and regularly puts others before himself. He accepts people for who they are, treating all of his classmates with care and recognizing that actions greatly affect the others. Preston is trusted by his teammates, and more than once he has been voted the most kind person by his peers. Addie is a shining example of what a student should be. She shows respect to her teachers and her peers. She is always willing to help others when asked. She's consistently shown up to her class and is prepared and engaged and willing to learn. We appreciate all Addie brings to the classroom and Little Miami Middle School. Casey. I've had Casey in 2 courses and have seen nothing but respect from him towards the adults and other students. Even in a class where he has a difference of opinion with others, he is extremely aware of the others' feelings and careful in how he responds to those. He is the first to volunteer to assist the teachers and the students and anything that they need, which shows an enormous amount of respect. Aren't they something to be proud of?
All right, congratulations. Next item we have is the Panther Pride Award winner. We're proud to celebrate a member of our transportation department at this month's Panther Pride Award. I'd like to welcome Don Ward to come up front, please. Dawn is our administrative assistant out at transportation. She oversees scheduling trips, assists in covering daily routes, and even drives a van if necessary. A few weeks ago on Saturday before the winter storm, I apologize. A few weeks ago on Saturday before the winter storm, was just a few hours away from starting, Dawn took it upon herself to make a big batch of chili for the maintenance and grounds crew teams that would be coming in and working around the clock in those winter conditions. She brought the crock pot out to transportation, bowls, spoons, and even peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the team. This goes to show the compassion and teamwork of Dawn, which is a very important thing to have. The fact that she was looking out for other departments in this district goes to show you that she is all about Little Miami and its team members. At this time, I'd like to ask Dave Flora and Kelly Oder to come forward for a few remarks, please.
You basically read what I wrote. I'll just follow up with Dawn went above and beyond looking out for her fellow staff members that day. She showed us that it doesn't matter what department you're in or if you're classified, certified, exempt, or a sub, we're all Little Miami. Thank you, Dawn.
We're very fortunate to have Dawn. She's very thoughtful with everything. She's always eager to help, and transportation department's very happy to have her.
All right, at this time, we'd like to congratulate our Panther Character and Pride Award winners. We would now like all our award winners to head to the lobby for pictures. Congratulations, everyone.
I know. I know, 100% agree with you.
I know, it's so cute. I know, right? I know. Oh, thank you. Okay, I forget.
You're right. I do, thank you.
All right, we do have a busy schedule tonight. You can get your seats. We'd like to go ahead and get started again.
I love it. Oh, look at this, Dave's taking the front row with you.
All right, at this time, we'll go ahead and read our Little Miami mission statement. The board believes that it is the responsibility of the school system to ensure that each graduate is college and career ready. To these ends, an environment of high expectations and opportunities shall be created that fosters scholarship and citizenship and develops within each student the ability to become a productive and responsible member of society. Next, adopt the amended agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Second.
All right, at this,
Either way.
Dan. Yep, Dan will.
Make sure.
All right, I do have a couple comments here on the amended agenda. I believe we had an item on a field trip that was added. And then, Terry, you had an item that we added as well.
Yeah, territory transfer.
Say again?
A territory transfer.
A territory transfer. And then the other item is a few just clarifications on the agenda. One of the things that we're waiting on was the school board visit policy. I think the original one that might be attached to the minutes was incorrect. This one actually discusses the background check, and I will read it as the latest version. Board members are required to complete a standard background check for any unsupervised visits. This district will facilitate this process upon request. So I just wanted to put that up before anyone makes comments, so you're aware that this was inadvertently posted when this should have been the latest version. The other item I wanted to clarify is just the verbiage on our new business. The "Hate Does Not Belong Here" poster. The discussion is going to be whether that pertains to House Bill 8 in the discussion. But as far as the verbiage goes, I do not believe that's in question as far as hate does not have to belong here. And I think we can take this as an opportunity to remind anybody. I know that we're very passionate about how we feel, and we don't necessarily always agree with each other. But I think we can probably use that as a motto to say hate does not belong here either tonight. And I think we just need to have some grace for each other. Understand people will be speaking, they haven't really spoken before. So I'm just going to ask them to have some grace, and we're going to try to move this along as quickly as we can tonight. We have a lot on the agenda, so thank you. Any other comments? Call to vote?
Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
No.
Mrs. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, second, we move to the next item, a reading of the minutes of the February 25th meeting, a motion to approve the minutes on the January 28th, and the special minute meeting on February the 10th. A motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Discussion? Call to vote?
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
All right, next is superintendent comments. Mrs.
I
Morgan.
would like to invite Jen Horvath to the microphone to present on our new ELA program, Benchmark Advance.
I do have one, I got the big one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some have it, and
I'd like to start off by thanking Mrs. Morgan and Mr. Gonda and the board for allowing me just a few minutes of your time. I get really passionate about this, those who know, right? But I promise it's like 4 slides, 5 slides. Okay, so good evening, everybody. I'd like to start off, actually, Brad, if you would go to the next slide, by talking about the importance of understanding that whenever you implement a new program, you have to think about it as a process, not a product. And so this first slide is just to show everybody the importance of what's in the middle there, which is coaching and collaboration. In order to continue to be sustainable with any new curriculum, we have to ensure that we have supports in place to support the sustainability. So really, that's kind of what my presentation's about tonight, is to talk to you about the things that we're doing in order to support our teachers. I want to thank Mrs. Timmerman for always supporting the work that we do, and I also have my partner, Heather Milligan, the MTSS coordinator. She has her eyes on all the students, where I'm looking at just the core. So we partner a lot together, so I wanted to share that. Okay, the next slide. This is just a reminder that the state expects, they mandated a kindergarten through 5th grade program. So we've done that. We piloted something last year, and this year we picked Benchmark Advance, and now we're in that lower left-hand side, which is educators engage in a job-embedded structure. So if you go to the next slide, it illustrates what we're doing. We have a 3-layer system here. We have the WHO, which is our building administrators. They're the one part of the system. Our literacy coaches, we have 2 of those. And our grade level ELA leads, and there's 6 of those teachers. And each of them play a very important part to our process. Our building administrators, can you hear me? I feel like I'm, okay. Our building administrators meet with our lead teachers along with our coaches, myself and Heather, our MTSS coordinator, each month, and we go over what kinds of things the lead teachers are hearing in their grade level meetings. We also meet as an elementary, we call it elementary collaboration session. All our elementary administrators, we meet and we are focused on looking at building data, our instructional look-fors, and keeping it consistent. That's the key. We want consistency for our students kindergarten through 5th grade. Then you get to our literacy coaches there, and they are the gap, they are bridging the gap. That is Karen Osborne and Courtney Meyer. They are awesome, and I'm just so privileged to get to work alongside them. But they bridge the gap between the Benchmark Advanced training that happens, the delivery of instruction through modeling, side-by-side coaching, and the data analysis of student performance on assessment. So those 2 teachers work with the classroom teachers to ensure that things are going on in the classroom that is expected from the program and with our standards. And then we have 6 educational ELA leads, and I just have to say their name. Meredith Troll is our kindergarten, Lisa Walker first, Katie Taylor second, Ashley Ledford third, Eileen Frederick fourth, and Sarah Mason fifth. They meet collaboratively with their grade level teams every week to talk about what they're supposed to do like the next week and what needs to happen in the next week, just so that we can stay consistent and on the same page. So as I said, it takes a village there, to raise a child. Here we are. All right, so we have to also listen to our teachers. So any good implementation process has a survey that needs to go out so that we can hear the voices of the teachers. I'm highlighting a couple of their comments and what they said in these different categories. I want you to know it's a much longer survey, but I'm not going to, we only have, where there's a lot going on, so we're going to just do this. But here's the positive. I want to start there. What do you like about the curriculum? I heard these are like overarching themes. I heard the curriculum is rigorous and it makes students think at a higher level, and also that we're thinking about the curriculum and all the children and making sure that we're meeting the needs. So a teacher said that. What part of the planning and teaching with the new curriculum do you feel best about? Well, they like the resources, they like that it's laid out for them, and they also like the pace and the fact that we're staying on pace with each other, having that consistency. That was an overarching theme in the survey. What's most helpful in preparing teachers with the curriculum? I heard over and over again, I'm just going to say the lead teachers and the coaches. So teachers are feeling supported because of those two pieces. And then another thing is the planning that they do. They like that they're meeting every week, even though they complain that they're meeting every week. I'm just going to say it. But we get good outcomes. They actually say, oh, we should meet. Anyway, okay. And then what kind of curriculum supports have been helpful? Again, collaboration came out, which is what we want, right, in the center, collaboration coaching, and having meetings. They like to brainstorm and hear what others are doing. So all very good things. All right, next slide. This is the last one, I promise. All right, so, but this is the big one. So we knew actually going in to this year that writing was going to be hard. No program is perfect, right? So and then that came out in the survey. So Courtney Miner actually brought this to my attention with the Teaching Writing Revolution, is partnering with the University of Cincinnati through the Ohio Dean's Compact. And to be honest, this is great news. We were selected out of 5 school districts to be a part of free Writing Revolution training. Now, I just need to say, this is not replacing what we're doing with Benchmark Advance. It's enhancing. This is a methodology. This is teaching strategies in order for students to feel success in the writing process. I'm really proud of that. We had to interview with Dr. Broback from University of Cincinnati, and I had to fill out an application. And we found out not so long ago that we were selected, and we started that training 2 weeks ago. We had one today, learning so much. Actually, I heard a teacher say today, this is the best that I'm so glad that I'm involved in this, Jen, because at first they had to get us, they're like, oh, anyway. But in the end, they're very excited. So anyway, that is what I have tonight in regards to updating you on the process and where we're at. Do you have any questions?
I appreciate that.
for me?
That was very brief.
Yes.
But
Yes.
a couple questions.
Okay, go.
One, we've had this program now, this is our first year we're finishing it up, right?
Correct. Year
So,
one.
Do we anticipate seeing any improvements?
We've got our eyes on it. Mr. Wallace, we meet every 6 weeks to analyze data to ensure that our students are progressing. Okay, so let me be really clear on that. So yes, I do believe so. I need you to know that the state, as we all know, complicates things for us sometimes.
Yeah.
They raise the bar,
They do
and
for
we
us, too.
always are like trying to figure out where we're shooting here. Right now, we have our eyes, and we do feel like our numbers are going to be better when it comes to kids at benchmark. I can't guarantee that because it's a moving target for us. But I want you to know, I want this board to know, we are working really hard in our kindergarten and 5th grade classrooms to have small group instruction going on, to make sure we're implementing with fidelity, to continue to grow our teachers to be better teachers. So.
No, I appreciate
Yeah.
that, and I asked Mrs. Morgan if you could come and present it.
Yes.
Because I know literacy's been one of the focal points people have been talking about.
Right.
And I know we Little Miami spent a lot of money into this program. I know a lot of time has been put into it. So I
Yes.
appreciate you coming here. It's glad to hear that we're optimistic about the results, and
Very
we're already
optimistic.
seeing it, you're saying. So
Yeah. Yes.
kudos to you, your team, and the teachers. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
All right.
So as you can see, Jen is passionate.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and her passion is contagious. And so thank you, Jen, very much. So next, I call Ashley Brown to the microphone. She is going to present on weighted grades and GPA. Thank you, Ashley, for being here tonight.
All right, bear with me. I'm used to presenting to high schoolers all day. Good evening, members of the board. I'm Ashley Brown. I'm one of the school counselors at the high school. Tonight, I'm presenting the findings and recommendations from our GPA focus group, which met on November 10th and December 10th to address the future of our high school's weighted and ranking systems. Our goal was to evaluate our current practices and ensure that they provide an equitable and academically sound experience for all of Little Miami students. Brad, if you'll go to the next one. Okay, first, I just want to highlight the collaborative nature of this process. The committee was formed through an open invitation in our district newsletter and included a diverse group of stakeholders, including our assistant superintendent, high school principals, high school teachers, counselors, and 11 parents that are in the district. The committee's primary task was addressing a significant inequity in our current add-on weight system. Currently, there's a major time discrepancy. Our high school honors and AP courses are year-long commitments, whereas College Credit Plus, or CCP as we call it, courses that students can take with our partner colleges are only one semester long. The disparity creates a really unfair advantage for our students. Under the current system, a CCP, or College Credit Plus student, can earn twice the add-on points in a singular year compared to a student taking the same level rigor coursework within our high school with our AP or honors classes. We have observed that this encourages students to avoid taking challenging high school courses at the high school, so AP and honors courses, in favor of CCP just to gain the GPA advantage. Next slide. To fix this, the committee unanimously recommends eliminating add-ons and transitioning to a uniform 5.0 scale for all weighted courses, including honors, AP, CCP, and approved career technical CTAG courses. To maintain consistency across different course formats, the weights will be assigned at the end of each term, whether that is a semester or a full year class. Beyond GPA calculations, we also researched 6 neighboring districts, including Mason, Sycamore, Lebanon, and we found a really clear regional trend toward broader recognition rather than individual ranking. Therefore, we are proposing a move to a Latin honors system, recognizing students for summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude, rather than the traditional valedictorian and salutatorian. Under the proposal, class rank will no longer be publicly posted or public or posted. However, we will maintain rank internally to satisfy the requirements of the Governor Merit Scholarship and will provide it to parents upon specific request. Colleges will also be able to see these ranks for scholarship purposes if necessary. Next slide. So in terms of the timeline, these changes will take full effect starting with the class of 2030, our incoming freshmen for the year 2026-2027 school year. And moving forward, the building improvement team will continue to refine the details of honors cords and recognition using student and family surveys to ensure our systems reflect the values of the Little Miami community. In closing, these recommendations represent a commitment to equity and academic integrity for each Little Miami student. By moving to a uniform 5.0 scale and adopting a Latin honors model, we are ensuring that our grading system is fair, consistent, and aligned with the best practices of our high-performing neighboring districts. The transition will take full effect with the class of 2030 and was made possible with the collaborative efforts of our teachers, admin, and parents. We will continue to engage our community throughout surveys and internal reviews to ensure our recognition systems truly reflect the values of the Little Miami family. So thank you guys so much for your leadership and support. I'm open to any questions you guys have. Awesome.
No, I appreciate the update. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Next, I invite Christy O'Neill to the microphone to talk about our career experiences.
Hi there, guys. I would like to start by saying that I have the coolest job at Little Miami. This is my second year, and I'm housed at the high school, but I like to say I'm housed there because we are building this program to extend all the way down to kindergarten. The Little Miami Career Experiences program is in place to ensure that students of Little Miami are ready for life beyond the classroom by providing multiple opportunities and pathways to explore possible careers. And I just want to start with that because it is so important that we understand the purpose here. It aligns perfectly with what Little Miami is supposed to do. And the best way to explain what this program does is by showing you students. Honestly, I kind of flipped the script a little. Abigail Transfiguration happened to be here for color guard tonight, but she is also what I call a triple threat in the Career Experiences program. So if you want to go to the next slide, I want you to think of Career Experiences as an umbrella of tons of things that we want students to engage in throughout their experience here. That could be work-based learning, off-site visits, job shadows, pre-apprenticeships, career coaching, school experiences. We have a program called Career Quest, and then credentialing. Abigail Transfiguration is a triple threat. She's probably even more than that because she has done 3 of these. She is currently completing a work-based learning experience at Otterbein, where she is a resident assistant. She has been doing that all year. She has taken advantage of most off-site and on-site experiences that deal with healthcare. And then recently, she has just completed a job shadow at Wright-Patt Air Force Base, where she got to spend an entire day with a professional there job shadowing them. So Abigail kind of shows us what is possible through our program. And the goal is that every student at Little Miami engages in career experiences throughout their entire experience. So you can go to the next slide. Our work-based learning program, currently I have over 60 students placed throughout Cincinnati doing work-based learning. This can be unpaid or paid opportunities. We call these internships, right? They can also be called pre-apprenticeships, but we're kind of settling in on work-based learning. So it can range from vet, Adriana Hartman, who's at Little Miami Vet. She also works at Miles Ahead Pet Rescue. Juliet Wilkerson, really cool. She kind of created her own experience because she plans to go into the fashion industry. So working alongside with some of our partners, she was able to secure opportunities at Macy's, Bellissima, which is a head veil. They create head veils down in the wedding district of Cincinnati. And then she also does work at Dress for Success. Max Dooley completed a fall internship with Hamilton Township Police Department and just crushed it to the point where now I'm so excited to pass that on to another student next year. Eden Connor did a full semester with wonderful Sean Tubbs, a Little Miami grad. Sean's amazing, and he always takes on Little Miami students. She had an amazing experience. Now, with that said, I'll pump the brakes. Eden Connor decided she doesn't want to go into physical therapy. Now, here's the cool thing about this program. It is not designed to talk everybody into something. It's also designed to close doors. And so what Eden Connor has decided to do, she's still going to stay in the physical therapy realm, but she's going to go into physical therapy as a tech because she's realized the cost of school is a lot, and she can do that program and have hopefully someone else pay for a lot of it, become a physical therapy tech. And all of that was discovered to her by talking to Sean and talking to other people in that professional world. Logan McAllister, advanced glazing, where they work in glass. And in fact, he just accepted another position at Siteworks. And he's super excited because he decided after that work at advanced glazing, he really wanted to be more in a construction realm doing heavy equipment. So I'm so excited because he just secured a position and got an offer at Siteworks. And then Olivia Carnine, she has spent her entire year at Atrium Medical as a PCA. So she secured her certified nursing assistant certification with the help of Little Miami, and they hired her, and she is working there as a PCA and will continue there while she's in nursing school. So our work-based learning program is very robust. Again, 60 students right now. Mason right there, got to shout him out. He's in an educational internship right now, working at Little Miami schools in an educational classroom. Next slide, school experiences. We have an insane amount of experiences that we provide on site. So the goal is we want to get students engaged before they can get their license, right? So we bring things to our school. One of the biggest we do is our career extravaganza every year, where we bring employers in to provide a career fair for freshmen through seniors. Stop the Bleed training was super popular. We had over 100 students participate in that. That was hosted by UC Health. And then our wonderful new counselor, Ryan Bouts, this is how connections happen. So by the way, anybody out there who has an industry that you want to come and talk about, please hit me up. His sister is an air evacuation flight nurse. And he's like, oh, she'll come talk. So sure enough, she came in her flight suit. It was so cool. And we had a packed room of students that were interested in this career. So these are just some of the examples of school experiences. Off-site visits, we go on a lot of field trips. Shout out to Dawn Ward, who got shouted out earlier. I work with Dawn a lot. I've never seen her, so it was nice to actually put a face with a name. But Dawn gets harassing emails from me a lot about field trips. But she's the one that sets up all of our amazing trips, and our transportation department's phenomenal. They are so accommodating to let us go off-site and take students to do this stuff. We went to Kingsmill Hospital. We went to the city of Cincinnati and met with a number of attorneys for a student or students that were interested in law, high-tech manufacturing, and then a huge Health Force Expo. Next slide. Credentialing. So this is something we kind of tap into. I put credentialing support because while the credentialing is more of our program just being a support system, we can help students navigate how to get to the Warren County Career Center or to Great Oaks that provides these credentialing opportunities. But with that said, I'm excited to say, starting Monday, we are going to be pushing 12 Little Miami juniors and seniors through a CNA training at Little Miami. So hosted in the Media Center in all its glory, and with the help of Otterbein and Lead Training, we are going to be pushing 12 students to be certified. Fire and EMT, that's a really great one that the Warren County Career Center provides, a senior-only fire EMT program. The Career Experiences program works hand in hand with our counseling department, and I'm pushing out Ashley Brown because we're able to kind of collaborate and identify students that would be maybe a good fit for this, that missed it during Warren County Career Center traditional program, and we can get them into that. And then welding is a huge program. We have a lot of seniors that maybe weren't ready to commit to the Warren County Career Center as juniors, but as seniors, they're like, all right, this is something I want to explore, and we can help them with that program. So, pre-apprenticeships, this is a new one. We currently have 6 pre-apprenticeships that are approved by the state of Ohio. What these pre-apprenticeships offer is a way for students that may need a different way to graduate than the traditional way to graduate. We can put them in a pre-apprenticeship trackway. And what that allows them to do is go on career visits, they get employability coaching, and they get kind of one-on-one career help to help them decide what they want to do post-graduation. We currently, and there will be a slide at the end, you'll see, I think we have 12 students or 21 students, I can't remember, currently in pre-apprenticeship programs at Little Miami. So here is our program at a glance just this year. We have, by the end of the year, we will have had 47 experiences offered to students and over 600 students at Little Miami High School taking advantage of them. 65 seniors are in our work-based learning program. 37 seniors, so I was way off on my number, are completing registered pre-apprenticeships that will help them graduate from Little Miami High School. I put the number 100% are engaged in career experiences because between our counseling department and what they do, every month they create an amazing career lesson for students, and our career expo and all of the things we offer, every student at Little Miami High School is getting that support to help them decide what they want to do post-graduation. So a quick timeline, I know, I get long in the tooth here. The idea is that every year, students will take advantage of more opportunities, right? So in 9th grade, they're starting to do career inventories. Now, mind you, this is gonna change, right? So we're gonna keep kind of pushing this down. In fact, I got to go to the middle school and work with all the 7th and 8th graders and had them all do a career inventory. And so we started that process a little bit early this year to see. But the goal is that every year, students get more and more engaged in their plans post-graduation. That by the end, by 12th grade, they maybe don't know for sure what they want to do, right? But they have explored enough that they feel like they can graduate with some ideas. And then last but not least, our amazing partners. I'm not going to lie, I ran out of room. I think I actually missed a couple. This is just a small gathering of the companies that work with us and are so supportive and allow us to send students to shadow, to intern, to provide pre-apprenticeships, to come and do guest speaking. The goal is you're going to be hearing about a potential Little Miami Business Advisory Council in the hopes that we can continue to build the business. The interest is there. I have to be honest, we have more students interested in internships and pre-apprenticeships than I can handle. So the goal is that we get more support from the community to be able to find placements for them so they can have those opportunities. All right. Do you guys have any questions?
Amazing program.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and I think what you said, how much money you save when you don't have to change majors 4 times, right, in college. You just go
Absolutely.
one time knowing. That being said, is it possible that we can put something on Facebook and reach out, tap into the Little Miami community? Like you said, you're needing some help, and I think we got great people out here that would be more than happy to help. But no, I appreciate what you and your team's doing. Thank you.
All right, absolutely. All right, thank you guys.
Standing.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I invite Mark Sousa and Dustin Goldie to the microphone to talk about the Little Miami BAC.
So I'll be brief. Thank you, guys. I know you got a lot on your agenda this evening. This is really just to piggyback kind of on what you just heard. So last couple BAC meetings in December and February, we've been talking a little bit about kind of direction and purpose moving forward. We don't have a ton of that, to be brutally honest, at times in recent years. And kind of where we landed is how can we support the staff and the career experiences that you guys just heard about and help, really deepen and expand on those opportunities. I had a conversation one-on-one with Dave about that, but we would kind of envision that would look like, working with existing staff, like you just heard, there's a lot of additional opportunities. Dave asked the question about how do you reach out to the community. We would probably let the staff really tell us where they think the extra needs are, expanding it down. We've talked about speakers coming in at younger grade level, just kind of career day type conversations in a classroom, field trips, but I think, if we had some input and direction from staff on needs and other areas of employment and career opportunities that they would want to see opportunities, we can engage with some volunteers in the community to go out and satisfy those and create those, whatever it may look like. Employers that have immediate needs like the STNA program you heard about, or job shadows, an apprenticeship, internship opportunities, whatever that may look like. The BAC has fallen under a couple parent BACs in recent years. Currently is under one for the county. Part of this, and the reason in coming for you guys and talking about this is in getting support, is there's some organizational work to be done in setting up the BAC to kind of be our own and give us some flexibility and create some efficiency and just more local control. So my first, I guess, question or ask of the night is, does the board have any concern, or are you guys completely comfortable with the BAC kind of taking on the goal or the mission of supporting staff and enriching these programs, and we go work in the organizational things that we would need to do to set us up to allow us to do that?
No, I think you and I had this discussion. Definitely, this is something I would definitely like to continue talking about, and I haven't talked, but maybe the 21st of March, we can talk a little bit more when we do our retreat.
Yeah, and our next meeting is in April, and that's going to be a follow-up ask, is to have one of you guys there, so, and to talk about it a little bit further. But yeah, so we're looking to get your guys' support to kind of this mission so we can start. Dusty has already done some work in kind of some of the charter documents that we would have to form an application to set up our own BAC, parent organization that we would operate under. And then second ask is something that's been mentioned before. We meet currently every other month. It's usually the first or second Monday of the month. Want and really need for vision and direction from you guys and to see what's going on, to hopefully have a board member at future meetings. And I can get that next. The only one that's set up right now, we usually set them for the school year in general. The next one is set for April. Sometimes we don't meet over the summer, but I think that would maybe look different with this, because we'd really want to hit the ground running. The goal would be next school year, working with the staff for this stuff. But whether that be a standing board member, you guys rotate, whatever that would look like, but having you guys involved in meetings and and then finding some bodies. We need more participants and people involved, as we're going to reach out to a lot of other industries and things like that to find volunteers to work towards these initiatives. Dusty knows this stuff a lot better than I do. I'm going to let him hit on a couple of these points and how it would support staff, and you guys can fire any questions you may have at him.
Yeah, the big thing, Dustin Goldie, I'm on the BAC, but I'm also a teacher over the Panther Success Academy at Little Miami High School. One of the things that it really does for our students is it gets our students involved with our workforce development partners instantly. It's a streamlined process by being a local BAC. And what I'll give you a great example. What can happen is you can have a workforce development partner say, hey, and this has happened, where they would say, hey, we can't attract young workers. How can we do that? Well, they would come to our local BAC, and then we would get with Ms. O'Neill. But by the way, our career experience program, it's not just the best in Warren County. It's probably the best in the state of Ohio. It's that good. And the workforce development partners would say to us, hey, you wouldn't think an English 12 class necessarily could fit curriculum in with workforce development. But I've seen it happen where you have the needs of a workforce saying, we can't attract these young workers, how can we get them in? They've actually worked and partnered with an English 12 class, where the English 12 class went and toured a manufacturing center, and then the teacher in their curriculum had them do term papers on how to improve and attract young workers. The number one thing that the kids wrote down was the manufacturing center looked like a dungeon. Paint it. Bright colors. You know, and they did. And it helped attract more young people. Just little things like that. So having a local BAC allows us a streamlined process to get our workforce development partners in touch with Ms. O'Neill and our students. And it's just a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, no, I'd like to have this conversation further. Right now, our BAC is tied to Montgomery County, right? And we're talking about,
Oh, is it? Okay.
how long, since, when did it change?
This is the first year.
First of the year,
So we've
okay.
been with Montgomery County for probably the last 10, 12 years. This is the first year we're with Warren County.
Okay, well.
And Dustin, what's the school that does this in Ohio, Northern Ohio?
Noble Local Schools up in Appalachia, Ohio, Central Ohio. And the one thing that you'll see too is when business partners get involved for the community later on down the road, when they start to see and have a seat at the table, the next thing you know, when you have initiatives or you have issues going on at the school or you want a new project done, these business partners are stepping up and saying, hey, we would love to be able to help out with this. How can we help? They're begging to help. And as you saw, we have a lot of them, but there's people right here in this room right now that probably own a small business that would love to be a part of this local BAC. So we're wanting to open that up to everybody.
Yeah, we would just want to support staff and then model ourselves after a couple of the other districts in the area that do this with this specific focus. And you know, we're a copycat, basically, you know, what others are doing. And go. It just, you know, my kids are high school grads not that long ago. They explored some of these opportunities in the district. I mean, Dave, you make kids figuring out what they want to do, right? Kids that maybe get turned away from the career center that are a student here and can't find a seat there, and maybe we find an opportunity to place them with an employer out in the field or something like that.
And we want to retain our local talent. We want to keep our kids here. And it's a great community, and that's how we build, you know, pride within our community and economic growth. So having a local BAC, it's a win for everybody.
And we're diverse too. I mean, Dusty works in agriculture and with livestock. I don't think a lot of communities or districts can say that they have an undeveloped rural that does a lot of agriculture and then have a ton of people that might work in white collar and everything in between. And I think we can help kids with all those opportunities. But I'll get you guys next meeting date. You guys maybe figure out who can or can't attend in future dates moving forward, and we'll get it figured out. Thank you.
Excellent, yeah, we'll have this discussion added to our 21st March agenda.
In the past,
Thank
the
you.
board had like a standing member, but I almost think it'd be better for, you know, during the year for everybody to get exposed and attend a meeting or two.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Derek. So I have to say, we have some of the most passionate teachers. Can you see that? I mean, we just have wonderful, wonderful people who work at Little Miami, and we're very lucky to have them. Thank you, Goldie, and thank you, Mark, for presenting, and everybody else as well. That's all I have.
Okay, the next item is the public comments for agenda items. What I'm going to do in the spirit of moving this along, I'm going to call one name. They can come up. I'll mention the second name if they can kind of get in line behind so we can kind of move this along. Again, I am going to ask that you state your name, your address. If you're not unwilling to do that, we can skip and move on. It's the way the policy is. We can look at changing the policy, but right now, that is how we have it. So that being said, again, let's just remember, we are all neighbors. Let's have some grace with each other. Amanda Hollingsworth, and then that'll be followed by Emily Cronenberger.
Ready?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, state your name and address.
Amanda Hollingsworth, 1018 Collins Riley Road. My address is also part of the public record in the Warren County case 25CV099677. And on that note, I would like to congratulate the district, Superintendent Morgan, Wayne, and Bobby on prevailing in a case that was brought forth by sitting board member David Wallace. Likewise, I would like to congratulate my friend Vanessa Srikantham on her victory on the similar case brought forth by Mr.
Are these
Wallace.
items on the agenda? I'm sorry. We can
Oh, it's
pause
on
that
here,
time.
don't worry.
Is this in
Turning to an
I'm going to ask you, please, we can certainly get to that non, but I'm trying to speed this along.
If you can sue
Let's-
me for crazy things, I can absolutely.
No, I'm going to ask you right now, let's speak with agenda items. If it's not on the agenda, you have the time at the
Turning
end.
to tonight's
All right,
agenda.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead and restart the time, Terry. But let's stick to the agenda, thank you.
Yes. Turning to tonight's agenda, the Hate Has No Home Here poster, and I am amending this as for the amendments that once again were made to tonight's agenda. Little Miami Policy 5780.01 defines sexuality content as instruction, presentation, or description of the sexual concepts of gender ideology provided in a classroom setting. This poster does none of those things. It is not instruction. It does not teach or describe sexual concepts or gender ideology. It is a general message of inclusion. A classroom poster is passive expression, not formal instruction. The policy explicitly excludes incidental references occurring outside of formal instruction. A rainbow or trans flag is not sexual content. It is symbolic speech. Selectively forcing the removal of this poster raises serious First Amendment concerns because it targets protected expression within the without meeting the policy's own definition. My second point concerns school board members' access to school buildings. The average student does not recognize school board members. When an unfamiliar adult walks through a school unescorted, it can create confusion or fear, especially for students who regularly participate in the lockdown drills and are taught to remain alert to potential threats from preschool onward. Requiring board members to be escorted while visiting schools is very reasonable. Skipping over the background check. On a related note, school board members should be forbidden from photographing or videoing our students, which is the policy that our volunteers already adhere to. Our policies should be applied clearly, consistently, and in a way that protect both student safety and constitutional rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Emily Cronenberger, Jackie Mason.
Good evening. My name is Emily Cronenberger. I live at 522 Woodbine Court. On tonight's agenda is the discussion of a Hate Does Not Belong Here poster, and there is a vote to see if it constitutes as sexual content. For context, and not to repeat Amanda, but the Parents' Bill of Rights that was posted describes sexual content as any oral or written instruction, presentation, image, or description of sexual concepts or gender ideology provided in a classroom setting. In the last two elections, several of you on the board ran on a platform stating you were promoting Christian values and are going against woke culture. It is baffling to me, a Southerner who is also a pastor's daughter, that we've come to a point where the idea that promoting love is a sexual concept. The Bible repeatedly discusses love and talks about Jesus walking alongside the outcast and marginalized and showing them love and acceptance. 1 Corinthians 13:13 states, "These three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love." How is anything that promotes love and kindness over hatred sexual and inappropriate? When I was 2, my family was threatened by a member of the KKK. Why? Because my father loved the other. He had friends who did not look like him, and he invited them to worship and commune with us. I have often taken the stance that I would rather be at fault of loving too much than loving too little. I've spent most of my life seeking out those whom society has pushed aside and sharing love and kindness. There's an old hymn that says, "They will know we are Christians by our love." These days, more and more, I see many proclaiming their faith loudly and proudly in an attempt to justify outcasting the marginalized, hating the other, and fighting against love and kindness. Little Miami is a district that has grown exponentially in recent years. We're seeing more diversity, more variety, more differences in backgrounds. These are things that make our district special and unique. Hate does not belong here. I would much rather we be flawed for providing too abundant a welcome than not providing one at all. If promoting love over hatred is woke, you may want to work on getting the Bible banned from our libraries as well, because it's one of the most woke books there is. Hate does not belong here. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie Mason. And then next would be Gina Baldwin.
Hi, I'm Jackie from Thornton,
Can you give your address, please?
Silverwood Drive. I support the taking down of the "Hate Has No Home Here" posters, and I support that flag policy. I represent the majority of the voters in this community who are thankful for the leadership of this school board and voted for our new members. Opponents act like this is confusing, asking, what's wrong with opposing hate? This is a guise, and the residents of this community see right through it. I'll speak plainly so that all with ears can hear. Those posters are in favor of sexual degradation. Everyone knows that. It's more than implied. Speaking the truth is not hate. Saying it is spin and gaslighting. If we can't speak the truth in our society, we won't have one much longer. And if we can't teach the truth in schools, then this isn't a place for education. Historically, changing the definitions of words was done by propagandists who led forms of government resulting in destruction. Supporting the display of propaganda does not lead to the flourishing for our young people or for good education. In order to have education, you need to teach the truth and have a foundation rooted in fundamentals of truth, or else you will continue to see our young people be lost and confused. And let me tell you what, in recent years, it's been the trendy, popular thing to support sexual sins and the sexual confusion of our children, which should have no place in education. And it has not been the sexually confused and sexually influenced kids who have been bullied. It's quite the opposite. All of my children were bullied in this district for standing up and stating what is right and what is true. So when posters communicate anti-hate messages, we all know what's implied, and it's not supporting tolerance and love toward the students who understand fundamental biology or strive to live a life of decency. And sadly, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Parents are bullied online by these anti-hate proponents. This week, I stated online a truth, that the rainbow flag represents a plethora of ways to have sex, and it's undeniably sexual in nature and should have no business in view of children. And it wasn't long after that, I had views on my LinkedIn profile. Was that an attempt to contact my employer? I see you, Christy in Mainville. I look forward to all the online tolerance and love following this meeting. And in conclusion, why would we display these deceptive slogans in our school in a time where our young, impressionable children are facing massive moral confusion?
All right, that's it.
I can
Thank you.
see why this is a good choice.
Gina Baldwin,
Thank you.
and followed by Courtney McKeon.
I'm Gina Baldwin, 983 Tyndale Court. I've got a couple things to speak about on the school visits. I have a few concerns. First, you talked about non-disruption. I do not believe board members should be in any classroom that has instruction going on unless given permission prior to that by the superintendent, principal, and teacher. Entering a classroom is always disruptive, even if you don't speak to anyone. In several places, the policy indicates that advance notice should be given when practicable. I can't imagine why it would never be. It should always be practicable to always give a prior notice. There's nothing so urgent that would require a board member to enter a school without prior notice. And if there is an emergency, board members should not be entering the school at all. That should be handled by the administration and the teachers in the building. Reporting observations should definitely go through the superintendent first before being presented in any kind of board meeting. Not doing so is the equivalent of copying a CEO on an email to your supervisor before discussing it with your supervisor. Regina seems to have a good relationship, and I'd like to allow the normal channels to work through issues before bringing it to the school board. That also improves your use of your time. I believe, in terms of credentials, I would expect that that's only for board meetings. I would never want board members to be going into a school without signing in, following proper visitor procedures. And as a matter of fact, I feel like if they did, it should be grounds for removal from the board. It's a major brief of safety and security measures in the schools to have people in the schools without signing in first. And I don't believe anyone should be a quote-unquote above the law for doing that. The hate does not belong here posters. You know, the thing seems to be about the rainbows. Since our school policies and Ohio law do not allow bullying or harassment based on race, sex, religion, sexual orientation, etc., then any sign that represents not doing so should not be considered sexuality content. There is no sexual instruction involved in indicating that hate will not be tolerated. Bullying and harassment stem from hate, therefore we should be encouraging the message that hate does not belong here. Seeing a rainbow, peace sign, etc. does not encourage someone to become gay, sexually promiscuous, or anything else. It merely encourages people to accept differences and not hate others. That is what Jesus encouraged us to do, and I don't see any reason we should be different. Unlike the last regular board meeting where constituent comments regarding fiscal responsibility were set aside, I sincerely hope that the entire board will take the time to do their sworn duty, to listen to what's presented, carefully evaluate information they receive, and vote based on the input they hear from people and their conscience. You have a sworn duty to vote based on facts and independent judgment. Your judgment should not be directed by outside groups, and your vote should not be based on direction given to you by sponsoring parties. Thank you.
Thank you. Courtney McKeon, followed by Judy Lehman.
Hello, my name is Courtney McKean. I wrote down on file for my address.
Can you
but
please state your
I will
address?
follow the policy, which I'm looking at right now, which is 0169.1, which says that participants only need to name the district of residence. So I'm a District of Little Miami resident.
Can you state your address?
The policy does not require that. Your policy that I'm reading that was adopted in October of 2025 only says district of residence.
I stand corrected. Go ahead and restart the time, Terry.
Thank you. Courtney McKean, Little Miami resident, and I'm here as a friendly neighborhood mom. Again, my opinions here are my personal beliefs based on publicly available information and the agenda items that were posted. The proposed policy of district building access for members of the board, I personally think is missing some very key components, and I would like to request the board really listen to what your community is asking of you and amend that before you vote on it. It's my opinion the following need to be added. And I think you spoke about this, the mandatory background checks. You did mention in the language, though, that it's as requested. So I'd like you to remove the as requested, or maybe I misread that. Okay, so as long as it's mandatory, then I appreciate that update. I would like to request and add that you have both a district-issued board member identification on your person when you're in buildings, and that you also have a visitor notification, like all other parents or visitors to the building have to sign in, have a visitor pass, and that you have a required escort either from the building administrator or teachers or district staff member be present with you when you are in our buildings at all times during all parts of your visit, that you're not able to walk around without an escort. Our students need to be protected for their safety, and I think for your safety, you should always have another adult with you when you are around any of our children. And I also would like you to implement a strict no photography and no video or recording requirement during your visits when students are in the building and during instructional hours, especially if you're in there after and there are no students present. That's a different conversation, but I think that your policy should very strictly specify when students are in the building, you are not taking photography. There's no need for a board member to be taking this photography while our students are during instructional hours. In addition to these safeguards, I would also like to ask that you are not just accessing the building again without that escort. There was mention of access to a badge for buildings. You do not need to be in our buildings. I'm not, as a parent, allowed to go walk around. I don't think the teachers are walking around without any need. Our visitors need to be there to make sure that our children are safe. I would not feel comfortable with a stranger walking around. And to our students, you are not an employee. You are there as the school board. And as a reminder, as a school board, you are there as a body for policy making, and then you have the superintendent who goes and does the day-to-day implementation of your policies. So I ask that you please take that into consideration as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Judy Lehman, followed by Vanessa. I can't pronounce your name. Yeah, I just still don't. Sir Kuntham, thank you. It's written down.
Are you ready?
Yep.
My name is Judy Lehman, 6860 Edwardsville Road, Little Miami School District. I'm going to keep this very short and simple. First of all, this board is doing a fantastic job, and thank you so much. Very proud of you guys. Everyone has a right to express their views legally and publicly, but the classroom is not a place for political or ideological advocacy. Let's remove these political distractions from our schools. We need to focus our time and energy on academic excellence, not on what kind of a poster or flag we have up there. If bullying is an issue and is being unreported, then let's fix the reporting system, create a better, clearer way for students to report bullying. Let's enforce discipline consistently. No student should be bullied, and I'm grieved. We can all agree on that. It seems like we have revisited this argument every time about the posters over and over and over again. On November 4th, our community submitted its own petition. That petition made one thing clear: political indoctrination in this classroom needs to end. In my opinion, these flags and posters are a distraction. It has absolutely nothing to do with education. We are here to educate the children. This is a learning. And you know, our national scores are at an all-time low. Oh, but yeah, we can say we got cool posters or a flag. I'm sorry, but you know, I paid $13,000 in taxes last year, and I feel like I have just as much as opinion as anyone else to say, you know, let's think about educating our students and getting our scores up higher. I love the idea of what the guys with the work experience, the career experience, teach children life skills, not this political agenda. Also, I think that every one of you school board members has as much right to be in those schools as the teachers. You represent our school, and I think you do have that right. There are some people, though, that can get into the schools without background checks. So, you know, you guys are at a higher class, so I think that you should be able to go in as well. And with that, I'm done, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Vanessa, followed by D.L. Browning.
Vanessa Srikantham, Little Miami. It's a great day to be a Panther until they come for our Panther pride. Then we stand a little taller, lock our arms, we do not hide. P, pride for our students, who they are and who we want to help them be. We guard the right to dream out loud, to grow in truth and dignity. A, all of them. L, G, B, T, Q, I, A, straight, no label whispered, no one denied, no shrinking selves, no coded shame, no part of who they are must hide. N, never neutral if harm is named, never silent when lines divide. We choose human worth and decency, we stand with any pushed aside. T, taking care of their well-being, academic, social, emotional, mental, all hearts and minds, every need important, none forced to the sidelines. H, here to support every race, culture, language, and creed, working without ceasing so no child goes without time and tools they need. E, equity and access to every learner, neurotypical or neurodiverse. 504 is an IEP. Support is a promise, not a line to simply rehearse. R, ready to teach them all to read, to question, to explore, to think, to create, how to open every future door. It is a great day to be a Panther, and our pride is proving to run wide. So when you come for one of us, expect hundreds on their side. Hate has no home here.
Thank you. D.L. Browning, followed by Susie Gilda.
Good evening. I'm D.L. Browning, 5635 Mason Mara Millgrove Road. Been here my whole life. Proud of you guys stepping up, being on the board, doing what you do for our community. I've got 2 young kids in school. I think the signs are a distraction, right? My kids come home, they get along with everybody. There's never been a problem, but every time this always comes up, and that's why I'm here today. It shouldn't really be that big an issue. It's common sense. I just hope everybody can get along, and I think you know what needs to be done. That's why the community spoke when we got the new board members in here, and I think we can work together and get this resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. Susie Gilda, followed by Lynn Ratliff.
Hi, I'm Susie Gilday. My address is 5682 Pepper Ridge Court. I'm a mom of 3 young kids coming up through Little Miami. My oldest is in 1st grade. We've lived here for a long time. I just wanted to say I am against the removal of the posters. I believe it has a good message. It is like the teacher's right to hang up what they like on their walls within reason. The poster says hate has no home here. Again, we can all agree on the verbiage. Hate has no home here. The problem, I guess I haven't even been able to find a picture of the poster, is that there are hearts with rainbow flags and pink, blue, and white flags. Was there possibly a Black Lives Matter heart? I don't know. But if that's what it is, this is our community. Whether we like it or not, there are gay people in our community, there are black people in our community, there are trans people in our community, and many of them are children, and they're coming up through the school. So let's let them feel seen. It doesn't have to be, this isn't a political agenda. It's, I see you, you're part of this community. Hate has no home here. It's not about propaganda, it's not about agenda. This is, I think it's more of a distraction to the students if we make a big deal and take this poster down. I think it's a positive message, and I'm happy for any of my children to know gay people exist, trans people exist, there's other people out there. We're not all white, we're not all Christians, we're not all the same. Everybody's different, and we should celebrate and embrace those differences that make us a community. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Lynn Ratliff, followed by Laura Fisher.
Well, I'm not going to talk about the poster. I want to speak briefly about the issue of the unsupervised access to our schools by individual board members. Let's start with something important. Serving on a school board is an elected position of governance. Governance is a word that's kept coming out in the policy. It's not an administrative role. In Ohio, boards derive their authority from the Ohio Revised Code, which clearly establishes that the board sets policy and the superintendent runs the day-to-day operations of the district. That separation isn't accidental. It's very intentional. National School Boards Association consistently reinforces that a board's authority is exercised collectively in public meetings, not individually in hallways. When individual board members seek unsupervised access to buildings during the school day, it raises several concerns. First, governance. If one member can independently enter classrooms, speak to staff, or observe operations without the coordination of the full board, we blur the line between policy oversight and administrative management. That's not transparency, that's operational interference. Second, safety. Every parent expects secure buildings. We require visitors to sign in, wear badges, pay for their background checks as volunteers, and follow established procedures. If we begin making exceptions, even for elected officials, we undermine the very security protocols that we expect everyone else to follow. Consistency always matters. Third, student privacy. Federal protections under FERPA are not optional. Casual unsupervised access during instructional time increases the risk of exposure to confidential student information. That risk doesn't disappear just because you won an election. Supervised access will steer board members away from this potential conflict. And finally, professionalism. Teachers and administrators deserve to do their jobs without wondering whether a board member might appear unannounced to evaluate, question, or second-guess them outside their established processes. Oversight should be structured, not spontaneous. Now, let me be clear, very clear. Board members should absolutely, unequivocally visit our schools. I'd have you there every day. Seeing our district in action is very valuable, but visits should be scheduled, coordinated, and conducted in accordance with accepted governance given to the elected body by the citizens and not to the individuals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Fisher, followed by Julie Perlman. Laura Fisher, followed by Julie Perlman.
Hello, my name is Laura. I live at 5573 Windsor Court, South Lebanon, Ohio. Can't remember my zip code right now. It's fine. I am, like many, here to speak about the sign. And I'm so sorry, but it is such a non-issue. When I saw that sign, I didn't think, wow, my kids are going to engage in promiscuous sex when they see this. I saw a sign and went, wow, our community is growing, it is changing. And I think every one of us can agree that we are living in a volatile time for everybody, Hispanic, Christian, atheist, gay people, left, right, everyone is too busy hating on each other to focus on the real problems. But that sign is not one of the problems. It is saying that hate has no place here, and it doesn't. It has no place in the schools. My children shouldn't be bullied. Your children shouldn't be bullied. Not a single child should feel like they're going to be bullied for being exactly who they are. I have 3 small children, and I'm excited to see who they become, and I want to know that they can do that safely. Once again, it is a non-issue, and it goes back to, I feel like it all goes back to the rainbow flag thing. Once again, rainbow flags, don't see it and think going to have sex. I wrapped my twin sons in a rainbow blanket for their newborn pictures. I did not baptize them gay. I was celebrating the fact that they are rainbow babies after a loss, multiple losses. And my question is, where do we draw the line? What rainbow is acceptable? Is the reading rainbow acceptable? Is a rainbow baby acceptable? Is a flag that has a rainbow that my son sees and thinks, look at all those pretty colors, I don't have to choose now for a favorite. How is that unacceptable? He does not see that and think sex. I do not see it and think sex, but some people see it and they think safe. And every child deserves to know that they are safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie Perlman.
Julie Perlman. I live on Chancellor and Morrow. I'm not going to repeat a lot of what's already been said here. You've heard it from several people. I would like to address a couple of things to hopefully encourage all of you to actually have productive discussion this evening. You're talking about a potential board visitation policy. My understanding is that is up for discussion, not necessarily a vote this evening. What I would like to hear from each of you, depending on what your stance on that issue is, if you think that the existing policy needs to be revised, I would like to hear this evening exactly why you think it needs to be revised. What's wrong with the old policy? What needs to be changed, and exactly why? In terms of the key cards and everything, again, if you think that's something that's necessary and that's why it's being put in this policy, I'd like to know why. I can't imagine a reason why a school board member needs to have key card access to a building. Just doesn't make any sense to me. You're not in the building when nobody else is there. You shouldn't be. You're not in the building. If you're coming to a meeting, somebody else has undoubtedly already opened that building. That's what they're there for. That's their job. So I would like to hear those reasons specifically from each of you tonight. Not hearing those things doesn't really mean there's being discussion held in front of a public forum. And I think you owe that to the people who voted for you, and I think you owe that to the people who didn't vote for you. Just a quick correction to the woman who said that the majority of the community spoke about what they want in the schools and what they want for the board. Less than 40% of our community voted in November, so it really wasn't a
If
majority
you're talking,
so
please
much.
address the board, please.
It really wasn't a majority so much.
Go ahead and finish. Please just talk to the board.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Don't cut my time now. I'd also like to briefly talk about the flag issue, the poster issue. Again, as many people have already said, rainbows signify a lot of things. They're in nature. We see them every time it rains. Doesn't have anything to do with being gay, being different, sex. Doesn't have anything to do with it at all. The poster isn't speech. It's not telling anybody to do anything except not bring hate into our schools and into our classrooms. And again, you've already said, we all agree on that. Again, following what I said before, if that's going to be discussed tonight and you do not agree that it's appropriate, I'd like to hear exactly why. If you believe, and I believe the exact conversation surrounds whether or not it's violating the Parents' Bill of Rights, and if you are of the opinion that it violates the Parents' Bill of Rights, again, I would like to hear exactly why. Not hearing those things from you and then seeing the majority vote is just not right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, we almost made it through. I'm just going to remind everyone for the comments later, for the non-agenda items, let's be respectful to each other. That being said, the treasurer's report, Terry?
It's under item D1. I asked for the board's approval of the contracts as listed.
So moved. Second.
I'll go over them briefly here with each of you. Our first contract was with Wright State University at the Nutter Center. This is for graduation. This is graduation actually out in May of 26. Of course, that's this year, May, and then May of 27. Our second contract is with a company called Social Thinking. This is actually K through 5 curriculum resources for, I believe, small and larger group learnings for the school counselors. We have a third one with Applied Behavioral Services. This is actually a special education placement for special ed services. And then the last two are two contracts that were part of our request for proposals where we had bids sent in. The one is being awarded to Atkins and Stang for the stadium light upgrade. That includes both the stadium and the practice field. And then the other one is with Superior Seal Coating. This is for the paving work that's going to be done at the high school. And both of those were, of course, they met all the guidelines and they were the low bids, of course, also.
Discussion? Roll call or vote?
Mrs. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Horvath?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Next, I ask for the board's approval of the donations as listed.
So moved.
I'll second.
Yes, we have three donations here. We have a $100 anonymous donation for negative lunchroom accounts at the primary school specifically. We have another $100 anonymous donation for negative lunch counts to be used anywhere throughout the district. And then lastly, we have Little Miami Athletic Boosters with a $5,000 donation for the annual ball field maintenance for the high school baseball softball fields. So very much appreciated of all three of those.
Discussion? Nope. Thanks again for the donations. Go ahead and call the vote.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes?
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolof?
Yes.
And then next, ask for the board's approval of the 5-year forecast, which I will present to you in a summary format, so we don't have to go through the 30-page document. I'm sure you guys all appreciate that probably.
A motion?
I'll move.
Second. Wayne?
Okay, great. Like I said, we have it up on the screen here, and you allow me guys to go through this with you. This is more of a summary. If anybody wants the large, super detailed one, it'll be on our website and also on Ohio Department of Education and Workforce's website also, once it's submitted. A couple things I just want to go over if we go to the first page here. And I do call it a 5-year forecast, even though technically by law now it's a 4-year forecast, but I still look out 5 years because I think it's the right thing to do. We're still under the current biennial budget that the governor put in place, House Bill 96. That continues the Fair School Funding Plan. It made, like I said, a few changes to the forecast, which actually it's 1 year and then 3 years out, so it's a 4-year instead of a 5-year now. Something I do want to pay more attention to right now, and I'm sure everyone's talked about property tax reform, is there was recent legislation, these are House bills including 186, 335, 129, and 309, that actually changed how property taxes can be increased, how they're calculated, and it has to do with inside millage and all kinds of stuff. If you guys had some free time, you should read them. They're fun. But as far as how they are being interpreted at this point, all those laws are incorporated into this forecast. The Ohio Department of Taxation is also continuing to work through the technical and administrative details of these. With regards to state funding, I talked about the Fair School Funding Plan. And you can see up there, actually we'll go to the, let me see here. We can go next page, please. There we go. With regards, oh, I'm sorry, back one. There we go. With regards to the Fair School Funding Plan, the district, is there, yeah, the second bullet right there. We're still considered what they call a guaranteed district, and I'm sure you guys have heard me say this many times, but as we get additional students within the district, we do not get additional funding for the district, unfortunately. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the forecast here. This forecast, of course, includes the approved FY staffing plans, FY 27 fiscal year, and the negotiated agreements we have with our bargaining units, and also our increases that we've had for our medical insurance premiums. All right, now we can go to the fun page with all the lines on it. All right, I know you guys can't read that, so we're going to look at some other stuff too. Oh, hey, there we go, we're getting bigger. Well, like I said, I go all the way out to 2030, and so I still look at 5 years. What you'll probably see online with ODEW is the 4-year, but we still like to go out as far as we can. Actually, I used to make even 10 and 15-year forecasts, although when you get out that far, it is a guessing game, to be honest. Even these last couple of years is a guess because you don't know what's going to be as far as state funding and so on. But there are a couple areas, like I said, I wanted to concentrate on. If we go let's just go to the next slide, Brian. Okay, this is a simplified format of what you just saw before. Obviously, it just breaks it out with revenues and expenditures. It does include our recently approved renewal of our emergency levy, which is now called a fixed sum levy. Same thing. Still the same 10.6 million as it always been. But something I really want to point out here, and this is with property tax reform, and I just want to point out that what does property tax fund do for our district? Because we're not really worried about the rest of the state so much. We're more worried about Little Miami. And if we look at our ending cash balances with levies, and that's, you can see about 2 lines up from the bottom, actually 3 lines if you look at numbers. If you go clear out to 2030, you see that negative $9.8 million amount. Now, that is what we're projecting at this point with everything we know out in 2030. Do I like that? Absolutely not, but that's what we're projecting, 5 years out. That is with property tax reform. If we go to the next page, I want to show you what it was before and how it's affected Little Miami. If you look at that exact same line, it's still negative, but it's a heck of a lot smaller. It's 1.3 million in the negative. So as you can see, we've essentially lost about 8.3 million with property tax reform. Now, with that being said, is property tax reform a good thing? Should it happen? Absolutely. Everyone, I think, agrees on that. Is it the right mechanism as far as funding schools and how they're going to take care of everything? And it's not just schools either. It's townships, villages, counties, you name it. It's not just schools, but everybody seems to concentrate on schools. But it's still being discussed. Obviously, there's more bills coming along. But you can see it's 8+ million that it puts us more into the negative. So with that being said, our property tax revenue is very flat at this point. If we actually turn, or go to the next page, there's some things I want to look at here. This is our revenue overall, and as you can see, 63% comes from local taxes. We don't have an income tax, of course, but it comes from our residential and commercial tax. And 32% of our revenue comes from state funding sources, which is our state funding, which when they talk about the annual budget at the state level, the 2-year budget. And then also there's the reimbursement that we still get on our levies, what they call homestead and rollback reimbursement from the state. And that's essentially when you don't have to pay a full dollar on your evaluation, you pay 87.5% of it, so like 87.5 cents on the dollar. New levies don't get that, but the old levies do. But you can see though, you got 95% of our revenue there that's made up between the state and local sources. As you can see when you look at that bar graph, it was growing, but as property tax reform comes up and you get into roughly 28, even a little bit 27, you go into 28, 29, 30, it's pretty flat overall. Are you still going to gain additional revenue? Yes, but it's going to be at the rate of inflation at this point. If we go to the next page there, and like I said, there's a reason I'm pointing this all out. Once again, this is just the property taxes by themselves, and as you can see in those years, it gets very flat, and this is because of reform. And like I said, needs to happen. Just not sure if this was the right way to do it all. If I did, I would probably be a billionaire not sitting here. So, but I just want to show you more than anything else on this graph how flat the revenue is coming in for property taxes going forward. If we go to the next page, this is our state funding. This is what they call unrestricted grants and aid. And you can also see those same years are very flat going forward. Couple reasons for that is, one, like I said, we're on the guarantee, so we don't really receive more revenue. Now you can see it's grew a little bit. We grew in 26, but honestly 26 had some performance incentives because the district has done well. But after that, we don't know if those are going to be carried on or not. We assume they are, but even if you go that level, it's going to be flat going forward because we are on the guarantee. In the near future, it doesn't like we'll be off the guarantee at all going forward, but we'll take a look at that coming up here. But you can see we have two of our main revenue sources, roughly 95% of our revenue, that are both very flat. If you scroll the next page here, we talk about the Fair School Funding Plan, and this is where the guarantee I'm talking about. And these numbers you see in red, these $3 million numbers, those are actually the amount of money that we are on the guarantee. And when I say that is, we're guaranteed dollar amounts from fiscal year 20. I know it's fiscal year 26, but we're guaranteed money from 20. If you use the actual formula that's in place, and this is why it doesn't work for Little Miami, times the number of kids we have, you get an amount that's way less than what that guaranteed amount is from back in fiscal year 20. These $3 million figures are actually the difference between the two. So you can only imagine if we get like $800 some a kid from the state, just in basic cost funding, how many kids we would need to get off this guarantee. You probably need 1,500, 2,000 kids. I didn't do all the math, but it's a lot of kids. So we're planning on staying on the guarantees. You can see it gets a little bit worse for us, and then it actually goes a little bit down. Now, with that being said, there's going to be different biennial budgets that are going to be coming in, new governors, new funding, and so on. But this is just, like I said, based on everything that we know at this point. But that is how far, and I just want to really show everybody how far we are on this guarantee. So we're not going to be on the formula anytime soon. And that's why I'm saying our revenue is going to pretty much stay flat from the state. If you go to the next page, I'm going to look at our expenditures overall. Like any school district, any service organization, roughly 81% of our expenditures are pretty much fixed. They're salaries and bennies. We do everything we can, of course, on the bennies to make them as efficient as possible and as less costly as possible for our medical insurance. Our retirement is set. There's nothing we can do about that. The SCRS and STRS, both retirement systems, those are set by law and where they come in. You can see we have purchase services. That's roughly 14%. The majority of purchase services are made up, like one of our contracts we saw tonight. The applied behavioral services is when you have special education, we have to essentially outsource for the learning. That is the overwhelming majority of our purchase services. And then everything else is actually relatively small, roughly 5%. Our supplies, our capital outlay and so on, you're talking at this point, you're talking like fuel, classroom supplies and so on. But you can see our expenses do grow. There's no doubt about it. And they grow quicker than our revenue. And that's the issue. If we go to the next page, why are they growing? This is why they're growing. If you look back to 20, 20 and going forward, and these are projections, of course, but we have some historical numbers in here. And these will not match some of the numbers you see. These are FTEs from Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. So they're going to be a little bit different than if maybe you see a number on a slide or something, because they're doing FTEs. So if a kid's here part of the day and they're somewhere else part of the day, they're going to be half a student, if that makes sense. But you can see we got growth. And with growth, it drives everything. I know I sound like a broken record on this, but when you continue to have kids coming in, it increases busing, increases, you're losing space, you're adding staff. With staff comes retirement benefits and so on and everything else. It drives every district. We're one of probably 30-plus districts, I think, that are really growing in the state of Ohio. And the rest of them, from what I've read, is they're either stagnant or actually losing enrollment. We haven't lost enrollment. I can't remember when. I think we lost a few kids during COVID, exactly.
7.
And single digits. Most places were losing hundreds, and we lost like 7 kids. But this is what drives everything, and that's why I really just want to show is its growth. If we go to the next page. So overall, this is just a big snapshot of revenues, expenditures. You can see, as I said, revenues are essentially flat. Expenditures are growing. We have that growth with student enrollment. And where's our cash balance going if you look at that line? Obviously, it's going down. At some point, yes, we're going to need another levy going forward for operations, and no different than any of the other districts around the state of Ohio. And like I say, especially for us, it's a rough scenario of a growing district, flat revenue, but growing expenditures. It's a tough place to be in. Maybe they'll change the formula someday for us, and we'll have better funding from the state level. Now, another way to look at this too, if you go to the next page, and this is the last one, I promise. Something I always look at is days of cash on hand in our current forecast. You think, oh, we got millions and millions and millions. Well, this is how many days it'll last you going forward. We're in fiscal year 26 right now. There's 137 days. That's fantastic. It used to be an old rule of thumb of you wanted 3 months. It was 2 months to 3 months of cash on hand, and now they say you're lucky if you got 30 days, I guess. So, that looks fantastic. But look at that drop-off as we go forward. You get into our fund balance very quickly because of stagnant revenue growth. And you get into 111 days, you get into 71 days, and then you drop into 20 days, and then actually you go negative 41 days. So when you think about it, if you got roughly 71 days, that's 2 months that you could operate with that fund balance. 111 days is roughly 3 months. You get roughly 4 months in the current year, projecting to end. So to me, that's just another way to look at it of what kind of fund balance do we have. I had a person a long time ago tell me, well, you ended the year and you got $1 million left over. That's great. This was a long time ago. It was a decade and a half ago. And I looked at that person and said, yeah, but I have payroll coming up next week and the week after that and the week after that. And I don't have any additional revenue coming in. So you got to look at cash flow and how we get our revenue from there's 2 times a year. And I won't get into more in the weeds, but there's twice a year you get your main amounts of revenue from the county auditor's office for the property tax. So you got to look at cash flow too. So even when you start getting into these lower amounts and you only have so many days of cash on hand, you got to make sure you can last the next several months or however long you have to until you get your next allotment of property taxes. And your state funding comes every month, but like I said, it's flat also. But this overall is a summary. Like I said, I've got roughly a 30-page document if anybody wants to read it, because there's more pretty graphs and lots of color and all that good stuff in it. But it's much more detailed. I don't want to have you guys here for an hour and a half on just me talking about where we are on our forecast. We're not a whole lot different than most districts in the state of Ohio, other than one big thing. And like I said, there's roughly 30 of us, and we're one of the, still, believe it or not, fastest growing districts in the entire state. Not the fastest, but one of the fastest. And think about it, we have 98 square miles. There's a lot of houses still going up if you drive around. The kids are still coming. So I don't see enrollment going down anytime soon. Would it make my job easier? Absolutely. If we became stagnant and even lost enrollment on it, my job becomes a lot easier. To keep track of everything. But where we've been, for the last decade, we've averaged, last 10 years, 155 kids a year, I believe. Does it slow down? It could slow down a little bit going forward, but I don't see it stopping. I see our enrollment keep going up every year, just when you see the amount of houses and so on popping up. And honestly, everybody can probably agree in here, it's a great place to live. I mean, there's no doubt, it's nice. There's a reason I moved here back in the 90s. It's a great place. But overall, that is our summary of the forecast, just to give you good direction on where we're heading. Something could change next week, to be quite honest. It's a working document. It's not written in stone. People are like, well, it changed on the forecast. Well, that's because you found out this or that. So it's always, as I say, fluid. It's a working document, and it always can change. There'll be updates, as I find new data and find out if there's been laws changed or what have you. There'll be another update. Like I said, twice a year now. It's February and August that we do our updates. But I'm working on this all the time, to be honest. I'm looking at cash flow, I'm looking at where we are, I'm looking at staffing. I look at all these things all along to make sure, are we falling within this line in this budget or where we need to be? And it's obviously it's a management tool for the district as a whole, because obviously we can't print money. We're not the Fed, so we can't print money. And that's good, because I don't like that. But it is a management tool to try to guide us to where we're going. Like I said, there's a lot of what ifs when you get further out into the forecast. But that's all I have, and we'll talk your ear off.
Thank you.
But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'm more than happy to discuss anything.
All right, any discussion? All right. Now we need to, you'd like us to approve this forecast.
Yes, yes.
All right, take a vote.
Let's see here, once we get. Didn't like me, I guess.
Not gonna make any comments, Terry.
Don't run with that one. I walked into that one. Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Thank you. And like I said, as updates come in, laws change and so on, keep the board abreast of everything that's been changing.
Appreciate it, thank you.
And that's all I have. Thank you. Appreciate
Right.
your time.
Now we go to superintendent reports and recommendations.
Yes, thank you. I ask for the board's approval of all items under personnel.
So moved.
I'll second.
So you will see that we are beginning our hiring for next year and the summer, upcoming summer. So that will be something that you will continue to see on the personnel reports going forward, is personnel being hired for the next school year and summer positions like summer school and that sort of thing.
Any discussion? All right, vote?
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, I ask for the board's approval of the Sinclair Community College MOU for College Credit Plus as attached.
So moved.
I'll second.
It could be me. So Sinclair continues to use the state agreed upon floor for their tuition rate, which is very nice for us. The rate this year is $41.64 per credit hour. The floor for next year has not been determined yet, but whatever that floor is, that is what they're telling us that they will use. For 24-25, we had 77 students enroll in Sinclair Community College classes. Together, they earned over 800 credits. The top classes were English Composition 1, General Psychology, Intro to Economics, American Federal Government, and Personal Finance.
Discussion? Vote?
Mrs. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Thank you. I ask for the board's approval for the Warren County Career Center Partnership Agreement as attached.
So moved.
I'll second.
Run out of juice. I gotta talk to tech. I need a better battery.
All right, that was Mr. Siebert and Mrs. Bullock.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Mr. Siebert.
Our partnership with the Warren County Career Center is essential for our students, and it is important that we continue that partnership by approving this partnership agreement.
Discussion? Vote?
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Bullock?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, I ask for the board's approval of the policies as attached. They were first reads on last month's agenda.
Any discussion? Nope, I'm sorry, we gotta make a motion. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
That, and those were first read. Do you have any comments?
The first read was again on the January agenda, and so looking for approval this month.
All right. Discussion? Vote?
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Mrs. Bullock,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace.
Yes.
Thank you. I ask for the board's approval of the high school course selection guide as attached.
So moved.
I'll second.
So just like we are hiring new people for next year, we are also registering for next year classes soon. So we need the course selection guide to be approved so our students can use it to register for new classes.
Discussion? Vote?
Mrs. Horvath,
Yes.
Mr. Siebert,
Yes.
Mrs. Bullock,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. I ask for the board's approval of the varsity softball field trip as attached, and just to note, this was an amended item.
So moved.
I'll second.
The varsity softball team would like to travel to Lexington, Kentucky to play in 2 scrimmages against Lexington teams, and then they'll watch a UK-Florida game as a team.
Discussion? Vote?
Mr. Siebert,
Yes.
Mrs. Bullock,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, I ask for the board's approval of Resolution 26-006 as attached.
So moved.
I'll second.
Yes, this resolution, 26006, completes a property transfer for 442 Watkins Bowman Road from Little Miami School District to Blanchester School District. Just so you have a little bit of knowledge about this, some of you weren't here when all of this conversation happened. This piece of property, the property itself where the home sits in Little Miami territory, but the driveway sits in Blanchester territory. So all of the neighbors, this house sits back, and so all of the neighbors, it sits right beside the Blanchester city limits sign. And so they came to us actually in 24 to begin this process. The process has to be done in odd years, so it was completed last year, but the last piece of it is for Blanchester to approve the transfer, and then for Little Miami to approve the transfer. Blanchester approved the transfer on last Monday.
The State Board of Education also approved it already.
Yes.
Discussion? Vote?
Mrs. Bullock,
Yes.
Mr. Wallace,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath,
Yes.
Mr. Siebert.
Yes.
That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, new business. The first one is the hate does not belong here poster.
So moved.
Andy, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion? All right, there is the poster that is above you. Wanted to read the guidance we got from our law director, and I think this kind of clarifies the situation. So Board Policy 5780.01 is not directed at general messages encouraging kindness, respect, or anti-bullying, such as hate has no place here. For example, if similar wording were displayed over a neutral image, such as the American flag or a generic student image, it would not ordinarily implicate the Parents' Bill of Rights procedures. My understanding of the teacher's message below is that the poster is intended for 2 primary purposes: supporting aspects of the social studies curriculum, including topics that may involve sexual orientation or gender identity in historical context, and signaling no students that the classroom is a respectful environment free from hate directed at individuals, including students who identify with groups reflected in the poster. Neither purpose is prohibited. However, depending on context and interpretation, displays incorporating images that could reasonably be viewed as presenting or describing sexual concepts or gender ideology may implicate parental notification and opt-out requirements under House Bill 8 and district policy. Given the logistical challenges associated with this procedure, with those procedures, it may be most practical to reserve symbol-specific displays relating to sexual orientation or gender identity in the historical context for temporary use directly tied to relevant curriculum units, with policy compliant notifications incorporated into unit-specific parental communications, and for year-round general messaging on classroom walls to utilize more neutral versions of the anti-hate and respect-themed images to avoid ongoing compliance considerations while fully supporting the district's anti-bullying stance. Any discussion?
Well, yeah. Two of the symbols up there, we know are gender identity or sexual orientation in nature. The blue and pink and white is the transgender in the pride. The words alone, hate has no place here, absolutely agree with. It should be everywhere. Hate has no place anywhere. But once you add the symbols, that shouldn't be in a classroom setting. Nothing that sexually orientated or gender identity should be included on a classroom wall.
Excuse me.
Now, if this is part of the curriculum, this is in a history class. If this is part of the curriculum, I would like to actually review the curriculum if that is part, because I don't know how that would parlay into that. But that would obviously cue up the HB8 because we'd have to have parental consent for them to be able to opt out of the class if that's the case. Secondly, anything that has, if we just have the words alone on a plain piece of paper, it includes everybody. It includes every student that walks in that classroom. It includes every background, every color. There's no picking. But once you put symbols on there, you're saying have no hate for those groups. There's more than those groups that attend our school. It makes it exclusive and only inclusive for those groups and not everybody. That's my opinion.
Excuse me. Officer, can you start moving people that are talking? We're not going to be interrupted during this meeting. Any comments, Diane?
Well, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I think it becomes very complicated because everything is there. I mean, you've got the colors that we all now associate with certain groups that not everyone agrees with in terms of their values. But you also have the American flag, which involves everyone. And then you alluded to the pink and white and blue, which I'm not as familiar with that. Transgender.
Mm-hmm.
So it is unfortunate that it's all kind of muddled together. And I feel like if you could just have the message without bringing in certain aspects and certain values that not everyone else has, that it would be more acceptable. And when you're in a public system, you've got lots of different people with lots of different values and backgrounds and religions. So you have a really challenging circumstance where you can all come together and focus and have a shared focus. And so everyone kind of has to veil certain parts of themselves in order for that to happen. If your focus, for example, is to achieve academically. And in my opinion, if you're asking people to embrace something that is not part of their value system, then that's not the kind of poster that you should be putting up on a wall because it doesn't represent everyone and it is offensive to some people. And I don't think that people who are offended by other things that would be put up would agree with that either because we're being respectful of each other and valuing each other. That's everyone. So there are certain people that don't hold the values of part of what's up there. And so if you're expecting everyone else to be accepting, then it has to be accepting of everything.
I agree.
Dan?
Yeah, I think when you label certain people, even Christians, as hating you because we disagree with that lifestyle, that's a hate on your part. You're hating us because you're labeling us as haters. We're not haters. Christians are lovers. We love people. Jesus loved people. But I tell you what he didn't love. He didn't love sin. And he let that be known. All you have to do is read the word. It's right there. It's not me saying that. That's his words. He loved all people. He loved all people, but he told them to go and sin no more. He didn't condemn them. He loved them, but he didn't leave them as they were, because where their lifestyle, where it was going, was not going to be a good place. So when you label all those different rainbow things there and the trans things, you're identifying with that, and you expect us to love that and to even like it, but we don't. But we do love people, and so if you want to put a sign up that says, hate has no home here, yeah, but the rainbow colors puts it into another category, so.
Wayne?
Yeah, I have a comment. No, this is ridiculous. This has gone on for over a year. We've had special meetings in here that lasted more than an hour, provided and supervised by attorney. We were told if you adopt this policy, the lawsuits will follow. If you, and he was quite serious. And it looks like now this board is going to ignore that legal advice, and they will suffer the consequences. A Title IX lawsuit is $100,000 or more. This is a setup, I'm telling you.
All right. Hang on. I think we got to stay focused on House Bill 8. House Bill 8. I don't think we made the law. I think your your state representatives did. So I think if someone has an argument about House Bill 8, they're probably at the wrong meeting. Needs to talk to your state representatives. That being said, if we're going to follow the law as we all took an oath to do, prior to providing instruction that includes sexuality content or permitting a third party to provide such instructor on behalf of the district, the board will provide parents the opportunity to review any instructional material. Originally, this was given to us as part of instruction. When asked if the parents were notified, then it got changed to, well, this is an ongoing inclusion type. So with House Bill 8, I do not believe that this falls in compliance, so my thing would be to have that removed. Any other comments?
Yeah, I've got some more comments. I've had a whole lot of people contact me. The School of Public Opinion and the Court of Public Opinion is in order, and they have moved on this. I've had hundreds of people tell me this is ridiculous. We don't need this. And I've had very few say that they want it. Even the people who told me they were people of faith admitted that this has no basis to be removed from the school system. So what it does with the people who claims this behavior goes with this color is quite ridiculous. Color does not indicate behavior.
All right. And as far as the Court of Public Opinion, I will say that laws are not done by, they're done by your state representative. So if anyone has an issue, I strongly encourage them to talk to their state representative.
Dave, if I could
That
just
being
say
said-
one thing. I just wanted to clarify something real quick.
Yes.
And it's nothing about, but I don't believe the flag was used for instruction. I think what the teacher was saying is that when he's teaching things that there's hate involved in it, the flag is there to represent that hate does not belong here regardless. So if he's teaching about a topic in history where hate was involved, it was used as a symbol of saying hate's not in this classroom. So I don't think he taught it it was used as a peacekeeper in the classroom. I just wanted to clarify that. I did talk to the teacher, and he did indicate that.
No, that's fine. I was going off the email that I got from you that mentioned, I've reviewed the poster in question and its association with the attached curriculum standards. So the question came about what standard in the curriculum, and I guess curious, I'd like to see the lessons.
Well, he's talking about, if we were talking about World War II, and we're talking about concentration camps, and there's somebody who is of Jewish faith in that room, this is representing.
I don't see a
that-
Judaic system, but you know what?
I'm just giving you an
that's fine.
example, but I'm just telling you
Probably
that
not a time for you and I to have this discussion, but I would like to see the lesson plan.
yeah, you just made a comment.
Please have her removed. Please have her removed. Officer,
That is not your job to review lesson plans.
You had just said that it was used in instruction. I just wanted to clarify
Okay.
that one piece, that he had clarified that it.
I have a
that it-
question.
thank you.
How often does that come up? Does he just fly the flag when they have that discussion for that lesson?
Say that again, Dan?
How often does he have to fly that flag? How often does he teach that class like that for that lesson?
I believe it has been there for 4 years.
He's been teaching the same thing for 4 years then?
Well, I mean, each year there's a new group of students that come in.
So is the flag always up?
Yes,
Always up?
yes.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm not,
no,
again, I'm not,
Doesn't make
I'm
sense.
not part of that conversation. I just wanted to clarify that piece, that he's not using it in the instruction. He's saying, in my classroom, hate does not belong here, regardless of who you identify with and who you,
No,
in
that's
different
fine.
lessons that
It's-
have hate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I
That's-
got it.
I just wanted to clarify.
And I understand that. I'm kind of confused as to why you would go with those symbols and not the symbols that are in
That's your
the history
discretion.
lessons. And that's my thing,
Good
yeah.
point. All right, any other discussion? Vote?
Wallace?
You probably need to vote.
I guess we need to
You
preface
need
it.
to decide what you
So
vote
we
on.
will say a yes vote is removing it. A yes vote removes it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Horvath?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Hold it. I want this in writing. This is gonna.
We are at a yes or a no vote, Mr. Siebert.
Mr. Wallace, I have the
We are voting right now.
I have the authority to speak. You need to be quiet while I'm speaking. I don't care what
We are
position.
done with discussion.
I
We are
don't
at
care
the
what
vote.
position you hold. You are out of order.
I'm running the meeting, Wayne. We are at vote. Discussion was over. We are at voting now. It's a yes or no vote.
I'm asking for information, which is always in order. If you don't know that, you need to read your Robert's Rules of Order.
All right, Wayne, let's just move on.
I want to hear this written. I want to hear this motion, and I want to see it in writing. This is going to wind up on a legal professional's desk. I want to see it. And my vote is no.
There you go. All right.
Mrs. Bullock?
Yes.
You guys on the wrong side of history. And you guys.
Hey, please have him removed. Have him removed.
Sorry.
Have him removed. Get his name too, officer. He's not coming back to the next meetings if he's going to behave like this. We need to have decorum. We are not interrupting meetings. This is a public meeting. You are allowed to observe it. We let you participate. We're going to do board business. Okay? The interruption and the rudeness is going to stop. This isn't Facebook. Okay? This is the Little Miami School Board meeting. Continue the vote, Terry.
That's actually the last one. Got it.
So what were the vote totals?
4-1.
4-1, thank you. All right, the next item is the board member school visits policy. There's no vote mentioned. This is just a discussion. I know we got it amended just right before we had the meeting, so I don't know if you've gotten to see that change. I believe it was just over the, what was it, the school access, right? Was that the only
It
change?
was
Or I guess,
the-
let me, I guess, no, we're not making a motion, so we're,
The item that was changed.
Background checks.
Was
Background
under
checks,
number
thank you.
2, background check. Board members are required to complete a standard background check for any unsupervised visits. The district will facilitate this process upon request.
any discussion?
Well, I've stated before, I have no issues with following the policies of the schools where, you know, they know that you're coming, you sign in, you have a badge, you have a background check. I just feel like we've hired these administrators and we should have some amount of trust in them. That's why we hired them. If the trust is gone with the administrator, then that's a different issue and that needs to be addressed in and of itself. But if we trust the administrators to do their job, then I don't know why we would need to be having off-the-cuff visits, which is making people unnecessarily uncomfortable.
Even if they're background checks?
With the background checks.
So like when we have anyone that comes in to volunteer or PTO or any, do they all have background checks?
They
And-
do if they're ever alone.
Okay.
So if they're in a group and they're always supervised, then they don't, always. But if they are ever alone with students, they always have a background check. On your personnel, you'll see all the volunteers. Those are the people who have completed the background check and who can come into our buildings and be in an area. They don't have free reign of a building, but to be in an area and work with our students.
Any other discussion? And I guess we don't need to make a decision right now, it's just, is there additions that we would like to change with the policy? Or if you like, we can just look at it and then discuss that more on the 21st at our retreat and then bring it to the vote in March.
Yeah, I would like to express my opinion without being interrupted. I believe this policy is self-serving. I only know of one person who wants to go into school unescorted and look around and take pictures, which wound up in a courtroom here in Warren County. Why would we let anybody in a schoolhouse unsupervised to roam freely? This is a school safety zone. Why would we do that? Even if they saw something, the only thing they could do is take a picture, which is quite illegal, which I'm going to ask to have those pictures posted back up here on our thing. I would like to point out a few questions here. Who took those pictures? When were they taken?
Are you talking about the the poster? I asked Dr. Harleman to take one so that I could share it in an email with you guys so that we all knew what we were talking about. And the teacher took the other one to show the size of the flag compared to other things on that wall.
Thank you, thank you. These policy visits, it's unnecessary. Not everybody is even qualified to go in all areas of a school. Some areas are off limits. Why would you let anybody roam around free? The safety part of this. A person roaming around in a school is 5 times more likely to be injured or hurt than someone who is normally there and works there. Why would we let somebody just roam around by themselves? This is ridiculous. So I object to the whole thing.
I will say that one of the jobs as a school board member, and I do take it serious, that it's our responsibility to make policy as well as to enforce the policy and to confirm that it's there. Not everyone that goes to the buildings, and yes, I have had the opportunity to walk the buildings, and it was very informative. A lot of misinformation is out there. But I think this policy right here will address a lot of the concerns. So I think just everyone should take an opportunity to take a look at it, and then we can discuss that if you like on the 21st. If you have any changes that you'd like to make, You can let me know then on the 21st, and then the goal would be to bring that to a vote if we can on March's meeting. All right. Moving on to the next item here. Warren County Career Center report. I don't know if he is. He made it through. Mr. Warwick.
Good evening. I just have 5 quick items. At our last meeting, we started the meeting with a tribute to Bobby Grice for her over 20 years of service at the Career Center on the board. It was very nice. She got a plaque and some stuff. Also was announced that the Learning Lab preschool that operates there achieved a gold rating on an agency that rates those. That was good news. The expansion, the first part of the expansion of the Career Center to bring more students there, a designer was picked, and so the first move will do some expansion on the building so the atrium healthcare programs can move out of the building there in Middletown and back on the main campus. The second phase, and that will start in March. The timeline's a little long right now because they're saying it will be the summer of '27. Hopefully they can crash that a bit. The next phase would be a pole barn for the heavy equipment. And both of these expansions, the money is in the permanent improvement account. So it can move forward, and even maybe one will be completed and one way underway before we know if the sky is going to fall, because our friends in Columbus are crazy. So it's a moving target, and some of us went to the Budget Commission meeting with Terry, and we heard from the Budget Commission, and these are county guys. They're as confused and worried about it as we all are. But I think at this point, they're ready to move forward. They also discussed their 5-year plan, and I would just like to make an observation. The picture isn't rosy for them either, but they talked about some things they're going to do to try to make it a little better, which involves some spending tightening. I think I reported to you last month that they found some spending. They've changed the way they budget. They changed the way they approve spending. You know, an age-old problem with government spending is if something gets put in a budget, we make darn well sure we spend it. I don't know what goes on here, but I think that if that's something that should be looked at. I don't think that school districts can just get in the fetal position during these trying times. I think we have to step outside the box and take a look at some reductions or tightening that can be done. The 6-figure tightening that's already underway at the Career Center was done without touching any employment, any benefits, or anything of that nature. It's there, and I believe there probably could be some here if we wanted to step outside of the box and take a fresh look. I would encourage the board and administration to maybe entertain that. The other thing is the National Honor Society portion of the Career Center is something called the National Technical Society, which the Career Center has a chapter in, and we had 8 Little Miami students who were inducted. And the process is you have to have a 3.5 GPA or higher, 95% attendance rate or higher, no disciplinary actions, and once they clear that bar, they are sent to the staff for approval, and they complete several questions as to why they would want to be a part of it. So we had 8. I'd like to read their names. Hopefully I don't butcher them. Cooper Badalanen, Gage Byer, Beckett Burlisle, Allison Carter, Nicholas Kirby, Owen Kramer, Nathan Center. That's our 8 students. I think that's a pretty good and a pretty high bar to pass. I think that's it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Any board reports?
I have the active legislation impacting K-12 schools. I'll try and go quickly. House Bill 129, which has to do with altering millage floors and local revenue strategy. It passed in the House and it's now in the Senate. House Bill 671, which has to do with allowing districts to challenge funding calculations. It's in the House Finance. House Bill 326, which expands approved 11th grade testing options. It passed the House and is now in the Senate. House Bill 511, which increases safety funding opportunities, is at a committee stage. And State Bill 109, which has to do with providing no-cost breakfast and lunch statewide, is in the Senate Finance. Lastly, House Bill 455, which reduces reporting requirements and revises report card elements. It passed in the House and is in the Senate.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the next item is our next board meeting is on Wednesday, the 25th at 6. We have our retreat on the 21st. I don't think do we have a time yet set for that?
I do not.
Do we want to come up with the time right now, a start time?
March?
March 21st. We spoke, that's a Saturday.
What about 11 to 1 or 11 to 2?
I think we were trying to, the goal was to try to.
9 to 3? I'm
9
just throwing something out.
You want to start, can we start at 8?
Can.
I'm just trying to, 8 o'clock?
It's up to you guys.
I'm asking, Wayne, do you have a time you prefer?
I'm working on that. I'm not sure. I'm working on that.
Okay, we'll do 9 to 3. 9 to 3 it is. People can sleep in a little bit. All right, so 9 to 3, and we'll have an agenda getting sent out. Before we begin public comments, I do want to say the individuals, we can do better, people. We're better than this. We're going to send letters to the members, letting them know about the proper decorum, how to behave. But we're not going to attack each other. We're not going to be, hate has no place in this meeting either. So that being said, let's go ahead to the non-agenda items. And I'm going to move this along here. So the first one we have is Gina Baldwin, followed by Courtney McKeon.
Okay. I know there's always negative feedback, so I'll give you guys a little positive feedback. I was not able to attend the special board meeting, but I did watch it. And I was pleased to see a more collaborative approach to the discussion with the transportation department. There were a lot of good questions, especially from Diane and David, and it felt like a positive atmosphere. I hope that future meetings with various departments are handled in a similarly positive manner. I thought the discussion and the comments by Regina and Omar were on point, and that the school should not hire a consulting firm to create a 5-year plan just to have one, because we have lots of data already from the public, and from the public response sessions that they've had over the last couple of years, and that should be a good guide on what the public would like. And that having our overarching principles and goals that are used to determine a 1 to 2 year plan are the most effective approach, both fiscally and practically. That said, I still have some major concerns about the board and where you're taking the future of our school district. Is our district perfect? Of course not. Nowhere is. But it's pretty good. I spoke with someone the other day who moved into our district just in the last year. She loves how positive and encouraging the teachers are. They love that their daughter feels comfortable going to school. She feels safe. She feels that she can learn and grow. Our teachers and our administrators are what make our schools great. Please be careful as you look at making changes. I do not want you to alienate our teachers and make them feel under siege or under a microscope. No one likes to work that way. Unless your intent is to destroy our schools, which I sincerely hope not, then please get teacher input as to what changes will help them and how to best implement those changes. Do not use the recommendations of special interest groups or PACs. They do not know our schools, they don't know our students, and they don't know our teachers. Our schools are already quite conservative. You know, I hear people talk about a woke agenda. There is not one in our schools. I've had 3 kids go through this. You know, one's in college now, the other's gone through 8th grade, and they have not seen anything remotely resembling that. Our family's pretty conservative, and when they hear things in school, we talk about it at home, and we talk about what our values are, and we talk about our expectations of them. And I would hope that anyone would use whatever they hear in school or see on the internet, which is probably the worst place for them to be, to have those discussions so that you guys are getting where you want with your kids. Don't destroy the many wonderful things in our district in an effort to appease someone who has their own personal agenda and is willing to pay to achieve it. Thank you for your time, and I hope for your attention.
Thank you. Courtney, followed by Mitchell Fisher.
Courtney McKean, Little Miami District parent. Today I'm speaking again as a concerned parent. These are my own opinions formed based on publicly available information. The January meeting, I spoke with you and made a request to each board member, which I followed up with an email to request the same. And I'm dismayed to say that some of your replies may have gotten lost, or hopefully all of you just forgot to hit send. I know I have done that myself. For your replies were all missing except for one board member. Thank you, Wayne, for your response. In the January meeting, I spoke about a recent finding that I had found of concerning language on an organization's website that I personally find disturbing. I have personally been present at board meetings where this organization was present and have heard with my own ears members of that organization offer training to the board. Beyond those meetings, I do not know the extent of their interaction with the board or community, but from what little I am aware of and I have seen, I am deeply concerned. I want to read a paragraph published on the National School Boards Leadership Council's own website as of January 15th, 2026. Again, the public can judge for themselves. The section on their vision page is titled Learning Disabled, Mentally Handicapped, and Special Needs, and the text reads, students who are learning challenged can consume a lot of a teacher's time and resources. This means less time for students that are not learning challenged. This fact provides less than ideal outcomes for both the learning challenged and those that are not learning challenged. By providing specialty teachers in exclusive classes and schools for the learning challenged, we open up the path to success for both groups. Again, this language is posted on the National School Board Leadership Council's own website. In my view, this language treats children with disabilities as a burden and advocates separation of students into separate classrooms and even separate buildings. These ideals, if ever adopted as district policy, would conflict with students' rights under IDEA and FAPE and undermine the inclusion of students in our district. Reading this, in my opinion, any organization that promotes these ideas, I believe, promotes discriminatory mindset towards students with disabilities and special needs. And as a parent, I would not want any organization expressing these views to have any opportunity for influence over our district. Again, as a repeat to my request in January, followed up by the email, I urge the board to publicly reject these ideas in an effort to reaffirm the board has the best interests of all students in mind. I ask the board to publicly commit that the district will not associate with organizations or businesses that promote the isolation of students, any of our students, especially those with disabilities or who have learning challenges, which in our district can also include those who are on our reading improvement plans, as they also have challenges. Thank you.
Thank you. Mitchell, Fisher, and Vanessa.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? So my name is Mitchell Fisher. I'm actually the mayor for the Village of Morrow and coming to you guys in that stance. The village address is 150 East Pike Street. I come to you guys with some concerning information. I meet with all my staff, including Sergeant Hawk, who's the school resource officer for 2 buildings. I met with Regina last year as well on some of these topics and feel like nothing has changed. And there's some instances that happened this year that I find very concerning and want to bring it to your guys' attention. Really what it comes down to is there's kind of a breakdown in communication between Sergeant Hawk as the Morrow school resource officer and the schools. The communication really is non-existent with the administrative staff. I raised that with you as well. One of the things you discussed was Sergeant Hawk was a part of the threat assessment team. I guess the question for you guys is how many threat assessments do you think Officer Hawk was a part of the past 2 years in both schools? Really, the answer comes down to 0. Now, I know these threat assessments are still occurring. Officer Parton was filling in for Sergeant Hawk. He accidentally walked into a threat assessment and kind of made himself at home and pulled up a seat and sat down. They actually asked him to leave the threat assessment, which Officer Parton denied and said, well, is there a threat against a student or a school? And they said yes, and he's like, well, that's my job as the school resource officer is to be a part of this meeting. There's another incident that happened this year that, I was really conveyed to come to you guys at this point, was I get briefed on a high level of occurrences throughout the entire village as a mayor. I get 0 details on student names, grade levels, anything of that nature. If anything, I get told a building, and that's it. But a student, brought a knife to school. And once again, how do you think Officer Hawk found out that a student brought a knife to school? Do you think it came from for me, the principal should be notifying Hawk immediately. Sergeant Hawk was notified later that afternoon when he visited that classroom and was told by a student who saw the knife and said, hey, Sergeant Hawk, so-and-so brought a knife to school today. Now, to me, if that's how Officer Hawk is finding that a weapon came into his school, we have severe communication breakdowns happening within the school, and I'd like to see progress made. And really, from what I'm seeing as a mayor and communicating with my chief and Sergeant Hawk, he's not being used as a school resource officer. He's kind of a babysitter. Why are we paying, the school's paying his salary. To me, it's a waste of money, but it's also a waste for the village when I could have him on the streets helping with other cases. And so I'd like to either meet with you guys, I'll continue to meet with Regina, but the fact that it was already discussed he was on the threat assessment team, but obviously he's not being involved or emails are not being sent, I think we have some bigger issues occurring between the police department and the school.
No, I appreciate that, Mitchell. In the future, please don't wait for the non-agenda items. Reach out to us. We have that relationship with local, municipalities. Let us know what, I really don't want to comment on that, to be fair to Joe Smith and Mrs. Morgan. I think let's, if I could, let me talk with you offline. And
I would love to come back and have a conversation
absolutely.
with multiple board members.
We absolutely will.
But I think there's a lot of dynamics that need to be discussed and reevaluated.
I'm going to give you my contact information after this meeting here. Absolutely, and then we'll reach out.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Vanessa, and then Lynn Ratliff.
Vanessa Srikantham, Little Miami District parent of a 4th grader. Last month, I did come with intention to speak on both agenda and non-agenda items, but I spoke to a district leader about benchmark training possible for subs. I spoke to building administrators about the wonderful spelling bee they put on at the elementary school. And I think it would be greatly remiss for this board to have not mentioned the fact that we have 2 Little Miami students competing in the regional spelling bee. So congratulations to Ruth and Amabel. I was upset with myself for not signing up to speak, but things happen. But I also learned something that night, and again, sadly tonight. Nothing I would have said would have changed the direction this board has already chosen. Minds are already made up. So tonight I want to be honest about why many of us continue to come and speak even when we know our words fall on your deaf ears. We're no longer here because we believe our words may change your minds. We are here because our kids are watching and our staff is watching, our community is watching, and they deserve to see that when something doesn't feel right, we still speak. I'm a pastor's kid, and one of the greatest men I ever met was the late Reverend Richard Bradley. The last time I spent much time with him, he left me an origami dollar and a noted scripture. One year, Brother Bradley stayed at our home, and one morning he needed to leave early before my dad did because he didn't want to be alone in our home with me when my dad was not present. And I asked him later why, and he said, not because anything improper would happen, but because how it might look matters. He told me that when you're trying to be a witness, especially for Jesus, even the appearance of wrongdoing can damage trust, and that risk is never worth taking. That lesson has stayed with me because words mean very little on their own. Anyone can deny anything with words, but appearances are enough to sow doubt and mistrust. Last month, we were told Briscoe was researched, but the appearance that Briscoe has strong, verifiable ties to individuals and organizations who funded significant portions of at least 2 campaigns for board members speaks louder than any reassurances offered here. When community member after community member came to ask this board to slow down, seek other options, or request multiple bids, these voices were ignored, and the message to the community was clear. What appears to be happening is that outside influences are prioritized over the voices of the people who live, work, and raise kids in Little Miami. I went home last month discouraged, and then I opened my Bible, just picked a place and let it fall open. And it opened right to the scripture Brother Bradley had left me. And I realized my prayers needed to change. I'm no longer praying for this board to hear us. I am praying that this community sees clearly and responds accordingly, because appearances matter, and right now what appears to be is deeply troubling. Deuteronomy 7:9. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations
All right,
of those
thank
who
you.
love him and keep his
Lynn
commandments.
Ratliff, followed by Tessa Miloski.
I had something prepared about I was going to talk about the flag this time, but that's already been decided. To go along with what Vanessa was saying, especially about the Briscoe thing from last month. I specifically came to you, Mandy, after the meeting and asked, how did you get to Briscoe? Well, the leadership conference. Well, the leadership conference ties back to the exact people that Vanessa is mentioning. And it struck me that you knew Mr. Briscoe had 8 kids, but you didn't know how many audits his company had already done. That's telling. That's telling. We're focusing on the wrong things. We don't need to be focusing on hiring nice people. We need to focus on professionals to do the job that we've hired them to do. We've hired Briscoe to do an operational audit. I've looked at an audit that he did. I've looked through the whole thing, like all 82 pages of it. It's not an operational audit. It's a fiscal audit. It's exactly what it is. I have an accounting degree. It's a fiscal audit. It's not operational. We need to make sure that before we are spending the money that we so desperately need right now with the state of flux that the state is in, and potentially the property taxes going away and schools at this point not really being afforded a way to bring other money into the district. We can't afford to be potentially throwing away $10,000, $20,000, $25,000 on a project that does not deliver what it says it's going to do. Because he told them it was an operational audit also, but it was not. It did not tell them how to fix their operations. It did not tell them how to run more efficiently. It told them where they had put their money in the wrong account on the general ledger. And then come to find out what he had actually proposed was illegal according to Ohio law. Probably because he's from Texas and he's not well versed in Ohio law, but that's another issue. When we're going to spend that amount of money, I mean, $25,000 when you're talking an $83,000 budget or $63,000 total, but yeah, drop in the bucket. But we need to monitor every penny that goes out at this point, every single penny. And we need to make sure that we are getting the best bang for the buck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tessa, followed by Julie Perlman.
Tessa Malowski, Wolf Run Lane. I live in between Mr. Robinson and Ms. Wilkerson. Little Miami School Board serves as respected ambassadors of the community they represent. We again stress the importance of prioritizing the needs of our school district. There will always be countless action items to review. This is understood. It is the interpretation of some that these priorities may not be in the correct order of necessity. To the best of our knowledge, there are 2 apartment complexes proposed or approved to be built within our district. This is a great opportunity for new families and to enter our district, but we must prepare. Our school district already struggles with the influx of students. Further, the construction of many new neighborhoods has us concerned beyond growing traffic issues. The public requests to learn what strategic plan we have for handling this issue. This, as well as a budget crisis many school districts in Ohio face, are the top priority. The input of our district's families at times may not appear to have any validity. Minimally, we would just like to be respected and heard as we are a part of the community. Time and effort spent attending board meetings as Little Miami parents is validated by how much we care for our community, teachers, and students. Policy based on data and evidence is what we deserve, not policy based on feelings and personal interpretation. Please consider and acknowledge the public's viewpoint, and I would just like to end that if any of you that voted yes for the poster policy, if you can provide in writing why you object to it without using your religion, I would greatly appreciate it. I'll send you all an email, and I will expect, emails have been ignored in the past when I've sent complaints, but hopefully I'll get a written response without using religion, since there is a separation of church and state. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie?
Following what she said and what I earlier asked each of you for, thank you to Ms. Horvath, Ms. Bullock, and Mr. Siebert for actually answering and putting forth your comments on why you were for or against the issue of the hate does not, yeah, about the poster. I'm very disappointed in you, Mr. Wallace. I'm disappointed in Mr. Smith. Neither one of you, and as board president, Mr. Wallace, I would think that you would want to lead by example. I find it very interesting and very distressing that when there are items up for discussion or during the discussion time before a vote is taken, you rarely have anything to say about why you are supporting or not supporting something, why you're voting the way you are. Certainly not leading by example. We expect better of the board, and I think we deserve better of the board. I would also like to, just very briefly with the incident that happened earlier with one of the audience members, I would like to encourage the board members to keep Mr. Wallace in check. I'm not sure that he has I don't know this for a fact, but I hope that if you don't know it, you will ask if he has the right to ask that certain members not come back to other meetings. I don't think that's appropriate at all. Thank you.
All right, but I will say something. It was not them not coming back, it's if they can't behave appropriately interrupting a meeting. I wanted to get their I want a letter to send to them explaining the proper behavior there, and if they can't do it, then they will not be welcomed back. That being said, we'll go on with the next item. I appreciate comments, though. Certainly appreciate the audience here. The executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual unless the employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing by Division G1 or Section 121.22 of the revised code. Those going into executive session will be the board members, Mr. Gonda, Mrs. Morgan, Mr. Malone, and Omar.
Mr. Conkle.
Mr. Conkle, I'm sorry.
Mr. Gonda.
Yep, I mentioned, I did.
Sorry.
All right, so I have a motion?
Need a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Second.